Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Cameron. I go by Cam the Stitcher here on Flosstube and on Instagram. I am coming at you with a end of September wrap up, and maybe I want to talk about all the stitching I've done recently and some projects in haul and whatnot. So that October, I'm hoping, crossing all the fingers, to try to at least put out a weekly video. We'll see. No promises, but it is so gloomy. I have my ring light on a warmer setting than I usually do to try to offset the gloominess, grayness that I'm experiencing and have been experiencing pretty much the past 4 days. I live in Northern Virginia and the weather has been very rainy and gross. And so, yeah. Anyways, this is a channel about cross stitch, if you didn't know. Also some other crafts that I do. There's definitely gonna be knitting in this video, but I'll keep that to the end. I had a birthday weekend this past weekend. I turned 29. Woo! And I was planning on going to a music festival. I think I talked about it on my channel like 2 or 3 times. I had bought the tickets forever ago, whatever. My favorite artist that was supposed to be there did cancel. So I was already feeling guilty about spending the money on this music festival to begin with. So I ended up selling my tickets and not going, which I don't regret. I understand why the artist canceled, is what it is, but that did it for me. I was like, I'm out. So anyways, what I ended up doing for my birthday was literally doing whatever I wanted. My partner and I, he took me wherever I wanted to go. We went shopping. I went to a nice dinner with my sister and my boyfriend, and we just chilled, and I had a wonderful day. I usually don't go shopping for no reason, especially clothes and things like that. I always have an event that I have to go to in order to justify going to buy clothes. I'm not a fan of clothes shopping, or shoe shopping or any of the sort. So, this weekend I ended up shopping for no reason, and that was kind of fun. And obviously I had some things I wanted to get. But yeah, so there's a good amount of haul. Not a lot of cross stitch, just mostly yarn stuff. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. But yeah, it was a good birthday, and yesterday was Sunday. I literally chilled out all day, watched things I wanted to watch, and stitched, and yeah, it was lovely. And I would like to do the same thing for my 30th. So anyways, so I have some finishes of cross stitch for you. I have new starts and I have whips. So let's get to it. The first finish that I have for you, this was one of those projects where I didn't have that much left to do, but then when I picked it back up, I knew I had already made a mistake in this project. When I picked it back up, I realized how bad the mistake was, and it's finished, but I cropped it quite a bit. So this is Black Butterfly Sampler by the Shaded Stitchery, and this is done. The reason that I had to stop it here was because I messed up this butterfly so bad that the border was running into the butterfly. It was going to mess up all the butterflies that were above it. It was going to mess up the other part that was supposed to be over here, or over here, which was the alphabet. So I ended up calling it a day. Instead of frogging the entire butterfly or restarting, I was like, I'm gonna make something out of this. So I'm gonna make a really cute long pillow out of this, where this is on one side of it, and then I'll have something here, a trim or some sort of something, and then another a complementary fabric going down the rest of it, and then a different backing fabric probably. So I'm gonna actually use this to experiment with different finishing techniques that I haven't done before. and I'm happy with that. This is stitched on a 40 count Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers Razzmatazz linen, and I love this linen. And the good thing is, like, I have extra, so I can stitch another small up here or whatever. So, or I can honestly, I could utilize the rest of this for the backing fabric for the pillow. I think that'd be really pretty, because I love this fabric. So, and I still have like a whole other part of this fabric that I haven't used. So I think I'm gonna do that. So yeah, you know, I'm making lemonade out of lemons, and we're just gonna go with it. So that was my first finish of September. My only finish of, no, first finish of September. Then I looked at my whip list, and I was like, okay, this thing does not need to be on my whip list anymore. I'm really close to a finish. So I pulled this out. This is Cross Stitch Makes Everything Okayer by Lucy Beam. I started this for my friend Bridget's birthday this year in March. So this was a 2024 start. And I stitched this on a 40 count Bestitch Me linen in the color Ledger. It's like this bluish yellow mottled fabric, which was, I think, perfect for this piece. I used Color and Cotton Stash, and yeah, it is done. I will say I messed up this one flower, and at this point I was like, we're keeping it. We're keeping it, and it'll be my wonky little flower, and I love it. So I haven't decided if I'm going to finish this into a like larger pillow, or if I want to find a smaller frame for this. But it's done, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, second finish of September, and probably the last. Today's September 30th, so I don't think I'll be finishing anything else today, but I was happy to get 2 finishes. And then let's go with new starts, shall we? I don't know why I don't have the pattern with me right now, and I'm realizing I don't know where it is, amongst the bags of things. But this I started for my birthday. I believe Marjorie started this as well, from Marjorie Made. We started Bearing Gifts by Kathy Barrick. I will put a picture up here. I was supposed to start this in June at StitchCon. We were all like, I think at least some of us were going to start this. And then that never happened because I didn't stitch at StitchCon. I talked. And so we decided to start this for my birthday. I am stitching this on 20 count Aida in the color Mocha by Bestitch Me. I still have a needle in the fabric. I pulled from my Color and Cotton stash. I've changed up the colors a little bit. I wanted it to be a little bit more rich and red. Now you can see her skin color, because I just picked like a random Color and Cotton, is blending in with that fabric. I'm okay with that. She looks ghostly and perhaps no longer with us. But I did decide to change the date to put 2020 something. This is so finishable this year, but like, I feel like it's a bad omen, or like if I put the number 4 here, it's not going to get done this year or something. So I held off. But yeah, this is really cute. I'm loving it. And that was a solid new start for my birthday. And then as a treat yourself for myself, I started a full coverage. Now, I have not worked on my full coverage almost at all this year, like any of them. I'm righting that wrong next year, because I spent all my birthday weekend stitching on this full coverage that I just started, and I had a blast, and it was so soothing, and I got so many stitches in. So next year I would like to dedicate 1 day a week to full coverage stitching. Right now my inclination is to do Fridays, full coverage Fridays. The only way that would change is if Lola Crow does another Sal next year, and those releases aren't are on Fridays. So then I would just make my full coverage day a different day and work on my Lola Crow. Anyways, I'm just planning ahead because if there's one thing I know about me, I'm going to join the Lola Crow cross stitch along. So, but anyways, I think next year I'm going to do every Friday will be full coverage Friday, and I will work on my full coverages. Right now, I did UFO a couple that like I started and I don't actually like. And so I only have, I think 4 full coverages now that I've started this one that I'm going to keep as whips. But you probably have seen this. It's all over Flosstube. It's all over Instagram. This is Rose Library, charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. I love this art. And I actually saw that this was like a diamond painting, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. And then, so when it came out as a cross stitch pattern, I was jazzed about it. I know Crafty Gamey Jamie has started this. I know several other people I've seen on Instagram also start this. But let me show you my beautiful start here. So I worked on this all weekend. And I got like 4,000 stitches into this. Granted, I am doing tent stitch, half stitches. So this is stitched on a 28 count easy grid with 2 strands over 1. I am not doing any sort of method. Royal Rose did not work for me. My mind can't wrap around diagonal. So what I do is I guess I don't do extreme cross country, but I guess like I just take the thread as far as I can within a reasonable area where I can count to, and I just do that until the thread is gone or there's no more stitches in the area. So that's what I did. And then I tried to like keep going back into this, like where I started, and like pick that color next to then take it out. So that's why you can see I've got like 2 to 3 like full books showing up. I've got the outline of some more books down here, and then we have some leaves coming in here. And then I think this is like the window, where the window will start. So I love it so much. It was so soothing to work on. I don't know that I will start full coverage Fridays before next year, just because I have a lot of other goals that I want to get to, and Friday is precious stitching time. So for now this will go, but I got it past the 1% mark, which I do feel good about. So this is a needle minder that my friend Bridget, the museum stitcher, gave me for my birthday. I believe she got it from Abby at Top Knot Stitcher, and she saw a creepy little baby, and she said, I'm gonna have to send this to Cameron. And I said, yep, absolutely. It's one of my new favorite needle minders. So anyways, that is Rose Library. I love it. Whatever, treat yourself. I did not want to do any goal stitching this weekend. I didn't want to like try to like finish an old whip. I wanted to work on something new and enjoy it all weekend, and I did that. So it was lovely. Speaking of whips I don't ever want to work on again, this is Move Forward in Love by Modern Folk Embroidery. I love this pattern. I love everything about this, except that my fabric is just hard to stitch on, and I started this with 2 strands on an 18 count that the holes are very tight. Some you can see like the hole is not even there on this Ada. I think it just like it was just the dyeing process or whatever, but this is still in a hoop. I'm gonna show it to you anyways. I want to finish this before the end of the year, but it is mentally taxing to try to work on this. I am not fast on this. It is not fun to pull the thread through this fabric. However, and also it's a repeat. So obviously this is like a mandala of sorts. So you're stitching the same thing 4 times. And, you know, I'm on my 3rd quadrant and I'm a little over it. So, which tells me, right, if I ever want to stitch in ink circles like mandala, I need to be in a round robin, because I will not have fun doing the whole thing. But This is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It looks great. It is on an 18 count. This was a fabric dyed by Stitchy Ferret, and I started this in 2022. I just want it done. So it's gorgeous, but I'm over it. So hopefully this will be a finish before the end of the year. But October, that's hard because like that's valuable Halloween time. And so I just don't know. But then I don't want to leave it till the very end of the year. Anyways, we're just going to set it and forget it for now. Another whip I worked on just because it's like, I had like a sad start on it and it's not that big of a pattern. This is Starry Moth by the Blue Flower. This was in a Just Cross Stitch magazine. I don't have the magazine handy at the moment, but I'll put a picture up. I love this. So I did work a bit. I'm trying to do color completion on this. So I have finished all the black already. And so now I'm in this blue. I didn't do that much on this, but like, you know, it's getting there a little bit at a time. This is stitched on, I think, a 16 count Ada that Cat from Whittier Stitches dyed and sent me. It's a beautiful purple. It is like the moth itself is full coverage, so, and I'm not stitching the border, but yeah, got a little bit done, so I figured I'd show it. And then what else did I work on? Oh, I forgot I had another new start, but that's okay. We'll save it for the end. This is, of course, you know her. You're not sick of her, right? This is Vanity Sampler by Hello from Liz Matthews. I did not fully catch up where I'm supposed to be this month, but I dedicated some time. Bridget and I are behind. We're trying to catch up. We both dedicated quite a bit of stitching time at the end of this month to the Vanity Sampler, and I am happy with the progress I have. I will have to stitch more in the next 3 months to get this finished, but I think I'll be motivated. This honestly is a year-round type of project, especially with the color palette that I have going on. So as a reminder, here's the top of it that was already completed last time I saw you. And then here's where I actually worked in. So I think from the last time you saw this, I stitched that crown. I stitched a lot of this middle motif that is huge. I stitched this bird motif that's not quite done. And then I kind of hopped around, did a couple of the floral, started some of the floral motifs, the bases, and then I went down here and I stitched this entire line because I just wanted to get that out of the way. So I did that, and then I started this like, Bridget's calling it like a ribbon candy border. That is here. It is, I will say, a lot of what I have down here is in this really light pink, and all my fabric, you can kind of barely see it on camera, but I don't care. I like it. I think it goes with the vibe of this piece. Bridget is experimenting, and she is swapping out some of the lighter colors with the darker pink, the DMC 915 here. So she's kind of fiddling around with the colors down here, which I love. Also feel free to do that. If you're using my conversion for the Vanity Sampler, like if your fabric's near mine or lighter or something, like feel free to swap it around. If you like the dark purple that I featured in this color conversion, like put more of that into it. There's definitely not a lot of it, so. But I love this. This is stitched on 36 count brown sugar by Fiber on a Whim. The whole border is done. I think I bragged about that enough. I'm happy. The border's so worth it. Like, this is one of the most beautiful borders I've ever seen, but I'm very happy I'm done stitching it. So yeah, that is Vanity Sampler. So we're gonna try to get a solid amount of stitching on this in the beginning of October, not leave it till the end of October, because that's not gonna make me happy. But yeah, the next thing that I worked on, I had already started this and it was technically supposed to be finished by the end of September, but that's okay. I'm going to work on this all day today and tonight. And then hopefully I can get it done by tomorrow, because I want to move on to Halloween stitching. But this is the 5th Day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Matthews. I'm stitching all of the trees. My friend Bridget and I are buddy stitching this. She's stitching all the samplers, and we kind of have a schedule we're going for. We're a little bit behind, both of us. She just started the 5th Day of Christmas the other day. We got on a Zoom and worked on it together, but she is, I think, further than me now. So anyways, this is my 5th day of Christmas. I actually don't have that much stitching left, which I know it doesn't look like it, but this is actually a very light amount of stitching compared to the other days of Christmas for me. But what I wanted to do was I was working in a hoop to get all these metallic stitches done and then all these rice stitches completed. And then now I can stitch in hand for the rest of it, because the rest of it is cross stitching and like a very light amount of back stitching. So that is good. So today I will start working. What I like to do is I start all the trees in the middle, and then I like to go up and then go back down and finish out the bottom. So right now I'm gonna go up and do some of the like doodads, snowflakes and whatnot, and then I'll come back down when I'm done with the top. So yeah, this is stitched on a 36 count fiber on a whim. Oh, what is it called? Topaz. It is a little hard to stitch on because obviously it is quite dark, but it's gorgeous. I am also going to do the 10th day on this fabric, so I'm excited. But yeah, so that is that, and that is my plans for to end out September. I am going to try to get a lot of progress on that today. And then the last thing I'm going to show you, this was a new start. I think I talked about it at the end of my last video that I was going to start this. My friends Marjorie over at Marjorie Made and Tara at Wilda Woman Crafts, they started a Sal with the Tiny Modernist pattern called Moths in the Moon. I'll put it right here. And they have a hashtag on Instagram. I think it's hashtag Moths Over Many Moons Sal. And I really wanted to start this. I started it on a 40 count Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers fabric of the month. It's like something about April showers or May flowers or something. And this is my start. So I started in the middle with one strand, the called for DMC, and I am actually excited that I started in the middle because I was able to complete all the cross stitching on this moth and then do all the back stitching. And then I moved up to the next one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and I'll move the hoop and I'll do this entire moth, do the back stitching, and then go over one, do this one, and then come back down and do the other yellow and pink one. Because I didn't want to do both yellow and pink ones at the same, like right after one another. Then I'll come down here, do the two others, and then I'll leave the border for last, which sounds like a bad idea in theory, but I think with this one, I wanted to get the back stitching over with, I think, more than the border. So I think I'm liking what I'm doing so far. But anyways, this fabric is gorgeous. There are so many people that have started this. Jen from Jen's Fiberweb, she showed her start on a video she just posted. I watched it yesterday. She is stitching on a very similar fabric to mine. It's like purpley pink and it's gorgeous. I know Amy from Thread Gremlins has started this on a beautiful piece of fabric as well. And yeah, go check out the hashtag. And then the border is so pretty, like with the little mushrooms in the corner. Anyways, so that was a new start as well, just for funsies. And I think that's all the stitching. Yes, not too crazy. I could have been crazier, but next I will show you a little bit of stitching haul, and then we will move on to knitting. Okay, so for stitching haul, I have a out of print kit that was one of my unicorns, and I had a saved search for it in eBay for like a year and nothing has come up until recently. So this was my birthday gift to myself. This is a Riolis kit. Honestly, I don't actually know what this is called now that I'm thinking about it, but this is it. It came with this was all kitted up and like wrapped and sealed and everything, but I opened it, duh. This is like a 14 count, black Aida that feels a little weird. And then it comes with anchor threads. The chart itself is extremely hard to read. It is like very saturated color chart. I don't like color charts to begin with. So, it's going to be hard to stitch from, but I want to start this, but I feel that I need to prepare myself for this a little bit more. This reminds me of like Wuthering Heights gothic novels, which I love. I also want to do a reread of Wuthering Heights. And so I feel like when I start that, I'll start this. I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, that was a big purchase. And then a couple other things. I did get my Be Stitch Me fabric of the month. It's Frost, which is this like bluish gray. I get 20 count Aida. So that was cool. Then I got my Lindy Stitches Endangered Species Club. The red pandas. The leopard is like still my favorite, I think. I just love it so much. But then again, I'm like, I love all of them though. But this is extra cute. So. And then I got a couple more things. So this was from the market. I got my order in from Abby at Top Knot Stitcher. So this is Lucy Beam's Tomato Witch, which I don't have the Tomato Santa, but I want it because I'm obsessed. So I had to get that. Then I got Patchwork Spools by Hello from Liz Matthews, because obviously. This is so perfect because you get to like, you can pick your favorite DMCs to put on the spools. She does give you like the, thread list and everything, but she encourages everyone to like pick your own colors for the spools. And then of course I got the 11th Day of Christmas, because obviously. And then I also got the Golden Sampler Fragment because I'm obsessed with this border. I'm obsessed with this big tree. I love it. Part of me, I have had a thought to use my Vanity sampler colors for this instead of the called for. But then again, I think what is so beautiful about this is the golden, like the goldenness of it. It's very buttery and summery, but also autumny, if that makes sense. I don't know. It is a perfect like transition from summer to autumn piece. So I haven't decided, but it's gorgeous nonetheless. And then also I got the Fairy House by Cottage Garden Samplings. I am on the auto ship for this. And I went ahead and bought the Classic Colorworks for it. This one's my favorite so far, although I did just see that the Haunted House was released. And I love it, but I still think this might be my favorite so far. The purple, the mushroom house, it's very fun. So I actually pre-ordered this and got this back in August, but I keep forgetting to show it on my channel. This is the new book by the designer behind Tuscan Cardinal. I have her first book, and so I was like, well, I obviously have to get this one. There are so many beautiful projects. I'm sure there's flip throughs out there. But like this one, that's calling to me. Obviously the cover art, the cover one is also calling to me. I'm sure there are a couple of sales already started for some of these, or this book in general. But it's so nicely printed. Like this one I'm also obsessed with. This like basket with like the handles and antler, and I love this border. Anyways, I kind of want to start something out of this for Halloween, but we'll see. So that is all in terms of cross stitch haul. Oh, I did also get, I got this from I did also get this. This isn't technically cross stitch, but it's crafty. It's going to be used for crafts. So this is something my dad got me for my birthday. So thank you, Dad. And he got this, I think, from Lowe's. It's a little pink toolbox. And so it has like a bigger drawer, a smaller drawer, and then this lifts up. So I want to keep this by my desk and put various items. Also, I bet I can stick all my needle minders on this now. Oh, that changes the game because y'all don't even want to know where my needle minders are now. My needle minders are literally just like stuck to a craft cart next to me on like, and my cat always goes over there and messes with them. So I don't know why I just realized that, but you caught that on tape, so to speak. And then, yeah, I think that's it in terms of stitching. I will now move on to knitting. If you are not interested, by all means, I will see you next time. But I have 2 whips to show you for knitting and some haul. And then we'll get into like what I've been listening to, watching, etc. So knitting. I have 2 whips to show you and some haul. I realized though I dropped a stitch on my sock, so I'm gonna figure out how to fix that. But anyways, some of you may have noticed, but last time I showed this sock, or I showed the almost completed sock, the first one, I had some lovely people reach out to me and tell me that they were so nice about it. First of all, everyone was like, hey, like, you know, just totally common mistake, but I think you may have twisted your stitches on your sock. And they were mayhaps correct. I for sure was twisting my stitches, didn't know what that was. When a pattern or like a video on knitting would say like, make sure you're not twisting your stitches, I thought that they were talking about like twisting it around the needle, like when you first start, like when you cast on. And I was like, okay, cool, like whatever. Which I do think that that's still something you don't want to do, but I didn't understand the concept of twisting your stitches. I discovered that what I was doing was I was yarning over incorrectly, and incorrect is like whatever, like a relative term. I will say I have now practiced and am not twisting my stitches anymore, and it is much easier to knit. Oh my goodness. When I tell you I was getting shoulder pain from knitting, like wrist pain, it was like hurting my finger because I kept like, you know, trying to, anyways, I was twisting every stitch. And so you can see on this sock, I had already cast it on. All of these stitches are twisted. And then you see the difference, obviously, from here to here. So I started not twisting my stitches about right here. So I was in my heel flap when I discovered that I was twisting my stitches. So all of the gusset turn, the gusset decreases, all of that, the gusset turn, the heel turn, the gusset decreases, I was not twisting my stitches. And now I'm just knitting in the round again with the foot area. So fun stuff. This is my first pair of socks, so I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. I have learned quite a bit. I'm going to keep going. This sock will obviously fit me much looser than the first sock, but that's okay. This is special yarn I got at StitchCon from a yarn store in the area with some of my stitchy friends. This will be memories. It'll be my first pair of successful, quote unquote, socks. I'm calling them successful. If they're done, they're done. Doesn't matter if they fit me quite right or not. I love it. Who cares? So I did just drop a stitch. So I am going to look up a tutorial on how to fix that. That's the first time it's ever happened, which I feel lucky about. So, you know, obviously I'm doing it magic loop method on, size 1 needles. I will say I'm looking forward to trying the 9-inch circulars. I know I had a couple people comment that it is a little finicky, and can be kind of frustrating to start out with. However, my next whip that I'm going to show you, or new knitting start, shall I say, this I am stitching in the round, and I'm like, ooh, I can see why my friends prefer 9-inch circulars with socks, because knitting in the round without having to do magic loop is faster. So I started a hat, particularly if you watch Megan the Seattle Stitcher here on Flosstube. She is a prolific knitter. She does amazing color work sweaters and cardigans and mittens and hats and all the things. So she knits, like, I swear, 15 of these hats a year. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but it is a free pattern on her Ravelry. I think it's Mama Made VM, and I will link down below to it. However, I will say the pattern itself is very, like, bare bones. If you are a knitter, you will understand what she's saying. If you are not, you will not necessarily understand what she's saying. What I would recommend if you are a beginner, because this is a very beginner friendly project. However, you can do this with some YouTube help, right? So that's what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm biased. I do have the pattern maker herself, like, there to help me, but it is doable. I don't want you, like, bombarding her Instagram with questions about it, but essentially you cast on, I think it's 120. I am stitching this, or I'm knitting this for my boyfriend, so I did it a little bit bigger, and I think she said if you just do it in multiples of, or do like an even number, you're fine. So I did 126. I cast it on 126. I'm using a yarn that she sent me. I believe she got this from Amazon. It's like a marled gray. It becomes gray. Anyways, so I cast it on 126 stitches, and then you just join in the round. You knit in the round for however long you want your cuff, like the cuff of your beanie. So I knew that my boyfriend really loves Carhartt beanies, and those cuffs are about 2 to 3 inches. They're kind of adjustable, and he was telling me he sometimes feels like the Carhartt ones are a little too long, the cuff part is. So I went for a 2-inch cuff, which means that you knit in the round for 4 inches. So I did it till I measured to 4 inches, and then you whip stitch the brim together, which I had to look up a tutorial on how to do that because she does not have instructions. Again, this is a free pattern that she just has on her Ravelry, but essentially I will link down below to the tutorial that helped me learn how to do this. So it's already done, but you can see on the inside here, this was the bottom of this was the start of my hat, right? So this was the bottom of my knitting. You then fold that up, like this way, inwards, like folded inwards. And then you, as you're knitting in the round, you go through your stitch on the needle, but then you also go through the stitch on the bottom of the work, so that you're essentially like knitting them, sewing them together in a way, right? So you go through the loop on your needle, you go through the loop on the bottom of your work, and then you yarn over and then knit those two together so that you end with you're still ending with the same amount of stitches on your needles. If you are a knitter and you already know this, obviously, like, ignore me. But I'm a beginner, so this was like new to me. And then I've already done that, and so I'm on like round 2 of just knitting in the round. Now the next task I will have to learn, which I know from socks. Socks is such a great thing to start with, because on magic loop specifically, because it is like daunting and you learn a lot of skills, but I don't know, like now that I've been able to knit a sock semi-successfully, this has been a walk in the park. So anyways, the next thing I'll do is, I guess, like just knit in the round until I feel like I've got a good length. I'm not sure how many inches that is. It's kind of up to you. Like I think she knits hers a bit longer. I don't like a slouchy, my boyfriend doesn't like a slouchy hat. He likes it more fitted. So I know I won't have to stitch or knit that much, and then I'll start my decreases. And I know how to do that from socks. So I think I just need to like understand the concept via hat and I'll be good. But this has been so relaxing, and I am like kind of ready to cast on one for myself in a more fun color. This is like very much him. He will wear this to work and stuff. And so he wears beanies to work in the winter. He's outside quite a bit with his job and stuff. So I figured I'd try my hand at it. Megan makes it look very easy, and it is easy. But if like you are a beginner and you've never knit in your life, maybe this isn't for you, but I would say it is. You just need to like be patient and be resourceful with like finding YouTube videos, just like showing you how to like join in the round, or, you know, whip stitch the brim or do the decreases and things like that. You can find a video out there for all of that. So it's just a matter of kind of translating her very like bare bones pattern to being resourceful and applying those skills that you're learning. And then I have some yarn haul because I want to do all the things, and I don't know, I'm successfully knitting and not twisting all my stitches. Like, I don't know, I'm jazzed. So I went to my local yarn store, which is Fiber Space, in Alexandria, Virginia. They're okay. They're all right. They have like a good selection of yarn. Obviously, like a lot of it is expensive hand-dyed yarn. But I did need some like wool yarn because I want to start the stripe hype sweater. Now I forgot the designer, but it is on Ravelry. If you're familiar with this, you might be familiar if you watch Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. This is one of those sweaters that she got back into knitting this past year, and this was one of the projects that like really got her back into it and jazzed about garment knitting and everything. So I really want to cast on one of these as well eventually. I know a couple of my friends do as well, so I was like, well, for my birthday, let me go to the yarn store and buy a bunch of yarn. So I got two different brands, but essentially the same vibes. So the main color I am going to knit with, this is Knitting for Olive, heavy merino in the color Pearl Gray. I'm like, can you see the color? It's kind of, obviously my light is. It's like a warm gray, if that makes sense. I didn't want a cream. I'm not a cream girl. I don't look good in white or cream or ivory. I wanted something a little bit more neutral, and this was like a warm gray, so it's right in that. It's not too cool toned, it's not too warm toned, so that's what I wanted. The first one I'll show you, this is this brand, Ulysses. I always want to say Ulysses when I see this. I know that's not what it is. Okay, so this is in the color Irritable, I believe, and it's this rusty brown orange red. Does that make sense? In some light, it's looking very orange brown in this light, but in some lights it does almost look red. Insert that Project Runway meme, the blood orange meme. Anyways, so I got this, which is fantastic. Then I also got this really fun, like purpley, like, I don't know, like a grayish, purplish, mauve-y color instead of pink, which I know is kind of crazy, but that's what I wanted. I think Bruyere is the color name. Very cute. Then, of course, obviously, I got a beautiful, gorgeous, yucky, pea soupy, vibrant green. This is in the color Printemps. And this is the star of the show for me, to be quite honest. I'm loving it. And then I got a brown, which there is a brown in the called for. This one's in caramel. Perfect. Gorgeous. And then I got a black. This is the Knitting for Olive black. Just because this was $1 cheaper, and I was like, I'm not gonna, like, it's just black yarn. I don't really care. So we've got, hold on. This is the vibe. Hold on. This is the vibe. Are we seeing the vision? It's very hard to show yarn. I'm excited. I don't know exactly what I'm going to cast on. Obviously, I'm going to cast on with my buddies, but I just don't know when we're all doing that. But I'm very excited. Here's the orange and the brown together to kind of show you the difference. It's very rusty. I'm loving it. So yeah, this is it, and I'm excited. So I think that is all in terms of crafty stuff, haul. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to talk about what I've been watching, listening to, etc. I have not been reading. I'm telling you what, I am in a reading slump. I don't know that will change anytime soon, to be quite honest, because I have found a podcast, and by found, I mean was specifically told to listen to it. So Michaela from Cinematic Stitches and Tara from Wild a Woman Crafts, they both, Tara started by telling Michaela about a podcast called The Magnus Archives. And then that was spread to me and my friend Marjorie, and it was like, you have to listen to this. It is an older podcast. You may already know about it. You may have already listened to it. It started in 2016, and it is a horror anthology. And so each episode is its own horror story, so to speak, but there is like a thorough plot line as well. So it's kind of fun. It's not kind of fun. It's actually a blast. And to be honest, it is completely like, I don't want to listen to audiobooks. I don't want to read. I just want to listen to the Magnus Archives. I'm already well into season 2. It is so spooky. At first, I wasn't really able to listen to it too late at night because it was kind of too spooky. But now I'm so addicted that I'm literally like listening to it and like falling asleep at night. So, which is maybe not a good thing, but it's been such a blast. So yes, another person has come on here to tell you to listen to that if you haven't already. I will say, if you're not into spooky things, you will probably not enjoy it. I will also say big content warning for trypophobia and arachnophobia, which I have both of those things. So, but I was able, I'm not gonna lie, made me a little nauseous at parts. I will not lie to you, but it was worth it. I got through it. Obviously it would be much worse if it was actually like a visual media. Thankfully it is only audio, but man, are they good with those descriptions. So if you have either of those fears, just a big content warning on that, but it's very good. Other things I have been watching. I watched so many things. I've watched just all the things. I watched all of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, as I'm sure a lot of you have. I binged that in 2 days, so it's fascinating. I love reality TV. I've spent a lot of my life in learning and reading really academic books, and I am a smart woman, and I have the degrees to prove that. But you know what I also love? Turning my freaking brain off and watching people go crazy on reality television. You are not a better person than someone that enjoys reality television because you don't watch it. I understand why you don't watch it, but for me, it just clicks. That just, it just makes the thoughts just, and I love it. So Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I believe, is not only reality television. It gives you all that good stuff, the drama that I can turn my brain off, but it's also educational. If you are interested, if you are not familiar with like Mormonism and some of the gender roles and marriage and things like that that fall under Mormonism, it's very fascinating. I'm very fascinated by that. So it was a really good watch. Also just drama central and fun. So I enjoyed that. I also watched all of Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself on Netflix. I had seen like snippets of this on TikTok because it was kind of going around. It's an AMC show, but it is on Netflix. It is an amazing concept. Essentially, the main character, Allison, is married to a man named Kevin. And every time he is in the room in the show is in a sitcom style. So it's very brightly lit. It's set like a sitcom. So you are, head on to a living room. Like you're just seeing the living room head on. The camera's not moving. It's not like it's just sitting still like Friends or Seinfeld or whatever other sitcom, right? Kings of Queens, stuff like that. And, but when he is not in the room and the camera is on her and some other characters, it is more of a drama. So the lights, all of a sudden, the lighting is completely different. The camera's following her. It's not a set sitcom type of filming. And it's such a good concept for a show. We just finished the last episode last night and it is so good. I will not give any spoilers, but what I will say is the show is inspired by an actual situation that happened. If you are familiar with, I think his name's Kevin James, Paul Blart from the Mall Cop movies, that's all I can think. He's in like Adam Sandler movies too, whatever. He is an actor. He was in Kings of Queens, who cares, with Leah Remini. Years later, that show was like, I think done, and I guess they pitched another sitcom that he was going to be the main character in. And it was called like Kevin Can something. I don't remember. You can find this on Wikipedia, but it was a show that aired. And in the first season, he had a wife, right? It's a sitcom, whatever. In the second season, they kill her off the show and write her out of the show, the actress, to improve ratings for this show. Now, mind you, in my humble opinion, the show's not good. I don't enjoy sitcoms. I enjoy some sitcoms, but I for sure do not enjoy sitcoms that's like just the husband complaining about his wife and like he's lucky that she even looks at him, but we're gonna get past that. So essentially, like, that's what this show is inspired by, and so that's why it's called Kevin Can Go Fuck Himself, and it is so good. It's so good. It made me cry, it made me gasp, it was funny, it was dramatic, it gives you everything you need. Like, it's so good. The main actress is from Alexis from Schitt's Creek. I forgot her real name, but she did an amazing job. There are lots of other people in it, and in the second season, the actress that played the wife from the actual sitcom that this was inspired by is in the show, so, which I think is really fun. But yeah, so we finished all of that last night. It was amazing. We haven't started Survivor, but we did the new season, but we did watch all of season 7 randomly because we've kind of been going back and watching some older seasons, and that one is crazy. If you're a Survivor fan, you may know what I'm talking about, but season 7 of Survivor is like, it was insane. It was a really good season. Very dramatic, the wildest plays I've ever seen in my life. And then my favorite contestant of all time apparently is on that season. His name's Rupert, and I loved him. So that's been fun. I did watch all of the Menendez brothers Netflix series. I think it's called Monsters or something like that. That's a super controversial show. I'm not going to speak that much about it. I thought it was interesting, and obviously it's like super triggering. There's lots of things in that case and in that show that they cover that is hard to hear and hard to watch, but that was interesting to say the least. And then movies. I have a list of movies I want to watch like this Halloween season. One of them is an old movie that I for some reason had never seen, and it's so up my alley that's like crazy I hadn't seen it yet. Death Becomes Her. It is available on Amazon right now, and it's with Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and Bruce Willis. It is from the 90s. I'm sure most of you already have seen it and already know about it and are already hip, but I, for some reason, had never seen it. And so I watched that this weekend, and it was so good. It was so cheesy and fun, and to me, like a Halloween movie. And if you've never seen it, I really encourage you to see it. Meryl Streep is hilarious. Goldie Hawn is hilarious. Bruce Willis is funny. Like, it's so good. It touches on women not being allowed to grow old and grace sort of thing. And like really fun, just like very lighthearted comedy, kind of Halloween-ish movie. So that was fun. And then I watched, couple weeks ago, I kept seeing this movie, clips from it come across my TikTok, and I was like, what is this? Like, is this a new movie coming out? And then I saw that no, it was a movie that came out in 2020. And it looked right up my alley, but I was like, why is this all of a sudden popping up on my TikTok? Well, I find it, it's on Hulu, it's still available, I believe. It's called Dinner in America. And if you enjoyed some of those early 2000s, like if you enjoyed like Juno or Whip It, movies like that, you will probably enjoy this movie. I will say it is lots of like harsh language and like, it's set in the 90s, I think. So lots of harsh language and like words that I don't use and a lot of people don't use anymore. But it's set in its time, and it is, I don't know, I loved it. I loved it so much. I think that's it. That's all I've been watching and enjoying. I do plan to try to do a weekly video in October. I kind of want to do it a little bit more, not vlog style, but like a little bit more like clipped together, because I want to work on lots of Halloween projects. And I kind of want to show you, I might be rolling the dice, showing you progress, things like that. So we'll see. But yeah, also, if you have any questions for me, I would love to answer those for you this coming month with those videos. So if you have any questions about my stitching, knitting, or Flosstube questions, retreat questions, like anything you have for me that you've just been curious about, please leave that down below on this video. I also posted to my Instagram today. So I will leave you with that. I will see you soon. And yeah, please, if you made it this far, leave a witch emoji because it is witchy season. And I will talk to you next time. Bye, baby.